Alright, this is part 4 of the space helmet modeling. I'm going to start actually on the materials now. Now, this is not an overly complicated model, but it is a little bit complicated, and it would be a challenge to UV unwrap this, and then to use something like Substance Painter, which could be done. I could do it. But it would take a while, and I think I'm going to cut some corners with this one, and instead of texturing with Substance Painter, I'm going to be using Smudger Pro. Okay, now this is an add-on available at Blender Market, and it's not free. It costs $30 here by Oliver Post, and it's a great add-on. And I'm going to show you just the basics of using that to do this. And the thing that I like about this is it's going to enable me to do some basic texturing, scratches and dust and smudges and stuff like that, right inside Blender and without UV unwrapping. Okay, so it's going to be kind of like using like noise textures and stuff like that and setting up nodes, but it's going to set up the nodes for me, and then that stuff can be tweaked. So that's the goal of this part of the video series, and some of the future ones as well. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and get started here and show you what I'm going to do. So let's start with this piece right here. This is the basic part of the helmet. I'm going to create new material, and I'm just going to call this helmet. And for now, I'm going to make it sort of an orangey color. I'm probably going to go for white eventually, but just to help you see the scratches and stuff, we'll do that. So I'm going to do that. I think I'm going to slide up clear coat as well. Maybe some of this. Maybe not. And we'll just get a sense for how this is going to work. Now, materials, of course, are going to depend so much on lighting. If you're not getting the effect that you want, often it's because of light. I mean, the modeling part, we just need some basic light in the background so we can see the shapes, but for materials to look good, the light is important. And I'm no lighting expert. What I'm going to do is I'm going to switch over to Scene Lights and Scene World, and I'm going to add in environment texture here and open an HDRI image. And the one I'm going to try to use probably is that one. And I will start to see some reflections based on the light from this. So I'm kind of imagining that this helmet right now is in the shop being worked on. Okay, so I'm going to do that, and I'm also going to bring in another light, an area light. Let's move it back here. And I'm going to rotate it. You can already see it there a little bit. And I'm going to have it sort of glancing off the surface, the top there. I'm going to scale this to the X and just make it bigger. And I'm going to make it about, just for now, maybe we'll try, that might be too much. And I don't know, maybe I'll make it a bluish color. So we'll have a little bit of light coming off there as we do our materials. All right, so that's what we're starting with. Okay, so this helmet is not going to be metal. Sometimes I would come in here and I would bring the metallic up even just a little bit to make it look like that, and I might stick with that just for now and see how we feel about that. All right, so to get some detail into this, in the Materials tab with the Smudger Pro add-on enabled, all right, I'm going to scroll down to the bottom to here, and it says Smudger Pro. I've got the helmet material selected, and I'm going to make this the active slot. Now, if I had other materials, I could choose which one, make it. I only have the one, so. Okay, so I'm going to click Add Smudger Setup. And that's actually going to start to create some nodes in here. Okay, so you'll notice that my material has been renamed helmet_SMR Smudger. So this has created some nodes down here. I've got the principal BSDF that I had already, and this. All right, and I've got this stuff. If I open that, you can still see my diffuse color. You can see I've got my roughness at 0.05. I'm actually gonna change that to maybe 3, make it a bit shinier. And I can still change my color anytime I want. Okay, I'll go back to layout though and do it here. Okay, so now we have all this stuff down here. Dust, smudges, scratches, and then some other stuff. I'm just gonna work with these 3 pretty much. So I've clicked on scratches, and I'm gonna choose Add Scratches. And as you can see, it's added scratches. I didn't UV unwrap this. I didn't do any complicated node stuff. If I click over here, you can see that there's some other stuff that's been added here. At this point, I can, I'll just leave them like that for now, click on here, and I can choose a different image to get slightly different scratches if I want to. And what I might do is change here the depth. Let's show you this. All right, so you choose how you want them to appear. And if I click here on this paintbrush add influence map, I can do that, and then I'm going to scroll down and let's see where I want. Right here, multiplier. I'll slide this down, and you can see them disappearing or reappearing. Okay, and then I can adjust blocks. They disappear a bit. I can boost the whites. So I've got the base of my helmet with a little bit of scratches. Let's come back up here and let's do some smudges. Now, it's going to depend on the color that you use. Add smudges. Again, I can choose an image that I want to use, and then start adjusting these sliders. Like that. Until I get an effect that I think looks reasonable for my helmet. So I like that effect so far. And then if I want to, I can add dust as well. Add dust. Maybe that one. And then I'm just going to pull this and see how I like it. Little bits of that. Does that look good? It looks more like stains, whatever. And turn down the multiplier. So, you know, orange may not be the best color for that, but we're gonna see how we feel about that. Okay, so let's go with that. Now let's select that piece there and see if I just come up here and choose helmet and put that on there, how that's looking. So far, so good. Let's save that. Okay, the next one that I think I'm going to do is I'm going to do some black. So let's choose something that I know is going to be black. So for example, these things, they're going to be black. So let's create a new one. Okay, new material. I'm just going to call it black because I know it's going to be black. In the base color, I'm going to pull this down way down to there. So there's your typical black color there. Roughness, I'll put 0.3 and maybe slide metallic up a bit. I don't know if that's really. I'll bring up the clear coat. Okay, so that stuff, you can see I've got it mirrored, so I'm going to get it on both sides. So let's just get something going with the add-on smudger. So you can see Smudger Pro black. I'm going to make that slot active. It puts the S. And I'm going to add a smudger setup. That's going to create the nodes for this black SMR material. I'm going to start with scratches. And I'm just going to maybe reduce the depth a little bit. And I'm going to click on here. And then come down. And I'm going to reduce the multiplier. I can hold shift if I want. There. Just, you know, a little bit of scratches on there. Good. I'm going to add a couple of smudges. And I will try, let's see, fall off. There we go, just like that. Yeah, just that one. It's in there. Well, fingerprints. Yeah, okay. It's in there. Suppose we could add dust. We'll see. Add dust. Now, let's try this and side dust. You see it puts it on the side here. I don't want too much dust. Just a couple of spots here and there. Maybe something like that. Maybe I'll come back here. Yeah, that's okay. All right, with that done, let's choose a few things. I want that to be black, so I'm just going to choose black. And that, possibly that, although, okay, so see how it's working. Looks okay. Let's see if I make that black. I might want it black, I don't know for sure. I know that those screens I'm going to want to have black. The other thing I want to do with this before I go any further is come back to the modifiers, and I want to make this a little thicker so it's a bit more visible, like that. I think I'll switch the materials. I'm going to have that as just the base color. And this one, you try black for now, and we'll see if we like that. Let's just go around and get all the black stuff. This eyepiece there is going to be black. And this, we're going to have to do some work on some of this stuff here. All right, inside for the lighting of this. but just to see the texture on these, I'm just reusing the textures. I'm not doing them again. These buttons I think I'm going to make metallic with some text. The cameras I think are going to be white, but there's going to have black here. I'll show you that in a bit. Let's get this antenna in black and the base of the antenna in black. And actually the back of the camera where that connects, that's black. And these things here, and I'm going to also have to do some work on these for the lighting. And inside here. So I'm going to do that right now, and I'm going to show you something. Okay? So I'm going to come in here, and in face selection, I'm going to select these faces, and I think I'll come to the modifiers and shut that off. I want to be able to see what I've selected. I want just these. All right. This has the orange material on it right now, and I'm selecting some faces of the same object. Come to the materials. You can see it's got the helmet on it. I want black on here, so I want another material available. So I'm going to click plus, come down here, choose black, and with those faces assigned, I'm going to hit assign. Now I'm going to show you something. I'm going to turn on Subdivision Surface, and you'll see I've got some black in here, but it's not covering the whole area. And one thing that you can do is come back in, and in edge selection, shift and alt and click all of the edges in the region that you want black. Let's try to get just in here. Yeah, okay. All right, I'm going to turn the subdivision back on, and I'm going to press Shift-D and pull, and I'm sharpening that, and now my black region fits a lot better. And hopefully, let me just see if I got that. I'm going to increase that all the way to 1. That's what that did, put in a crease. So now I have the black in there, and that's what I wanted. All right. Now, I think I'm going to make these bolts black. And I'm going to make this probably the helmet material. Save. So very quickly we're getting some basic materials on here. It's looking a little plasticky, but that's okay because these helmets are very hard plastic. Just want to decide if I would want that in like that. Also, I'll keep it as black for now. All right, let's do another one now. Let's do the camera here. I'm going to call it camera. Let's darken that a little bit. Okay, that's gonna. I want it to be white essentially. Let's bring the roughness down to 0.3. And I will mess with the clear coat here. Okay, now white is more difficult to see the effect here, but we've got the camera selected. Let's add a smudger setup for this, and let's just go ahead, choose scratches and add scratches, and there we go. 0.1 maybe. That's probably okay. Not going to see them that well. So what if I just went with that for now? And what I was thinking of doing was I'm going to come in here. I'm going to select this back and Control plus, and keep holding down Control plus, and hitting it repeatedly to grow my selection like this. I want to look from the side here, and I want to see, whoops, press the period key to zoom in. I'm going to hit Control plus again and again, and I've grown my selection right to there. And I want to make that black. So I've got the white material with scratches on there so far. I didn't actually add anything else, did I? Dust or smudges, so I might go back and do that. I want another material on there. I've only got this camera SMR material, so I'm going to hit the plus. I'm going to choose the black and assign. I'll just have a look. So I've got that on there. I can go back and I can tweak these. I'm just doing it kind of quick. Maybe we don't want it that shiny, but let's go ahead and do the same thing here. Select that, Control plus. Right to there. I've already got the black available. I'm going to click Assign. You can see how our cameras are starting to look. Okay, cool. Let's see. Let's take these buttons, create a new material, call it metal. I'm not certain I'm going to do this like this. I'm going to darken this a little bit, and I'm going to come down to metallic. See if we slide it all the way up. And I think I will probably do a smudger setup on those just to make them show up even a little bit better. Let's try add scratches, but let's try 0.1 and let's see, we'll add that and bring them way down. Just something that might catch a little bit of light. Assuming that we press these buttons more often, maybe we should add some smudges. Just something in there. And then I'll put some text over that. But what I also wanted to do on this is let's isolate these and come in here, and what I thought I was going to do is select all of these sort of side parts here. I suppose I could actually select the front face, hold down Shift, select the front face in this particular case, and just go Control I. That will get the other stuff. Come right back up to the top, and I've got this metal. I'm going to add another material, which is the black, and assign, and I just want that. And that's how I'm going to do my buttons. And I'm going to do the same thing with this one. I'm going to choose metal. I'm going to focus on that. And this one, let's see. This one I think I'm just going to go around like that, because I've got this indent. I'm going to add black and assign. I'm just going to have it there. See how visible that is. I might pull that up a little bit. Just like that. I might just see a hint of that. I actually was thinking, the more I thought about it, that's the period key. I was thinking of taking all of that just there, or should I Control plus to come up to about, or maybe even right there. Let's make that black and accentuate that. Select that. My materials, I'm going to call this visor. And I'm going to make it a little bit green. Slide the metallic way up. And the roughness, we'll put 0.2. We'll start with that. And I'm going to come down to Smudger. Make it active and add a smudger setup. Under scratches, I'm going to add scratches. Maybe 0.1 we can try. Click here. Reduce the multiplier. Just to have a little bit of something going on here. Let's try that. Let's come back up and add some smudges. Looks kind of cool. And some dust. Just like this, kind of. So that's what I've got so far. The next thing is going to be adding some light in here, some emissions. And so I'm going to do maybe just a little bit right now, and I'll come back and I'll do some more later. So I want to zoom in on this thing here. And what you can see is we have this sort of rounded plane here, and that's great. I'm going to Shift S cursor selected, bring the 3D cursor there, and H to hide that. Shift A, mesh circle. I'm going to choose 16. It doesn't really matter. Just something small, and scale it down. And press F and scale. I want a pretty small circle. Rotate X 90. A pretty small circle, and I want to pull it in, but I don't want it to be under. I just want it maybe about there. It doesn't have to be smoothed or anything. I'm going to choose that, and I'm going to come back up to the top materials. I'm going to choose new, and I'm going to call this emission. I'm going to call this white. This is going to be like a white light here. I'm going to leave it at that there. And I'm going to choose emission. And I'm going to choose for strength, I'm going to choose 200. We'll try that. I'll try 200. Now, I'm going to be rendering in cycles, so just so we don't forget, I'm going to switch to cycles and GPU compute. And if I'm sampling, I'm going to probably do 200. Denoising. Okay, I'll do all this other stuff later. Okay, so I've got that on there. Okay, Alt-H, I'm going to bring this piece back. This is in front of it, like the glass. What I'm going to do for that, under Materials, I'm going to click New. I'm going to call this Translucent 1. I'm going to switch over here to Translucent, and for the color, I'm going to choose Blue, sort of a darkish blue, and pull this down. Okay, now we're going to see the effect of this. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in a camera, Shift A, camera, and Control Alt 0, and I want to look from there, view, lock camera to view, and just start to do this. Oh. And I'm actually going to switch this here to, I think, 1200. I'm going to do this kind of a thing just to start setting up. But really all I want to see is this right now. So I'm going to go Control B and draw a box there. And I'm going to press F12. And that's what I wanted to show you right there. Okay, it gives this a Control Alt B to delete that and come on to camera view. It gives this view of the light. It's kind of an odd. You can even make this smaller. We're going to try 300. Now we're going to be going into compositor later, and so that's going to have an influence. Control B, pull a box around. Let's have a look at that. Okay, so I'm going to be doing that kind of effect for all of these lights here, and the camera pieces there, and this one here, and This one I'm not quite sure. And I'm going to be doing probably some, well, I'm definitely going to be doing some text on here and maybe some decals and stuff. And then coming back and deciding if this texture is too much, too little, I doubt that, the right color. In fact, just the one last thing I will do before we come out of here, what I really was thinking I would have anyhow, just to leave it at this point, was right here, I'm going to select the bottom here and Control plus a few times up to here, and I want another material on here, and I want that black, and whether I make this yeah, I went up too far, so I'm gonna make this all orange again, and I'm gonna do that again. Let's start with that. I don't want it under there. Maybe there's one more. Yeah. You know, and so therefore maybe that clip is now like this. I don't know. Let's leave it as black. Let's go ahead now and change this to white. Just think about some of these things. I'll leave that as white. It's probably more along the lines of what I'll be going for. And we'll do a quick test render with that. And of course we have more to do on this. So let's just check that out now. So this is what I've come up with so far using a white instead of the orange. And with a little bit of light in here, I'm going to be coming back and doing all the other lights in the next video and some text, and we'll look at tweaking some of these materials if necessary and adding decals. So thanks for watching.